Hi, this is Cheryl Gallant, your Member of Parliament for Renfrew-Nipissing-Pembroke, coming to you live from the Upper Ottawa Valley. Now, I come to you during the continuing fallout of the coronavirus pandemic. The federal government has moved to end public scrutiny of its actions. Trudeau has foreclosed on democracy in Canada. He's locked out members of the public as well as their elected representatives for another 4 months at least. For a moment, I bet you thought I was referring to the outrageous events in Hong Kong and the move by the Chinese Communist Party to strangle the former British colony of Hong Kong. While Trudeau hides from MPs, at least 2 innocent Canadians are rotting in a Chinese prison because of Trudeau's admiration for the communist government there. Until the end of September, there will be no issues raised by parties with differing points of view, no opposition days, no private members' bills like the one I've put forward to protect the rights of private property owners, and no order paper questions, which are submitted by members of Parliament to ministers to compel more substantive answers than what they serve up during question period. The decision to cancel full face-to-face meetings until the fall, at least, came out of a bad deal between the Liberals and a partnership with an even more socialist NDP. In exchange for his support on the Liberals' plan for limited sessions, the NDP leader said his party had secured a promise that the federal government would pursue sick leave policy, which is the responsibility of the provinces. The first word out of the Quebec premier's mouth was, "Who's going to pay?" That translates in the rest of Canada to stick it to the employers, as if they're not struggling enough already to stave off closure. The shutdown comes at a time when the number of cases of soldiers who tested positive for the coronavirus during their deployment on Op Laser to the front line at seniors' residences has increased 7-fold. Questions need to be asked in Parliament. Do our soldiers have the right protective equipment? What training have they received? What's the government doing to ensure the safety of the lives of our soldiers? These are questions I should be asking in Defense Committee and in Parliament, were it not shut down until at least the fall. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister burns through taxpayers' dollars on his United Nations Council seat vanity project, including trying to explain how Canada's contribution to the international peacekeeping is at its worst level since 1956. I'm receiving more calls from soldiers who are preparing to medically release from the Canadian Armed Forces. It's another broken promise that everything would be in place before the release date. As the associate official opposition critic for Veterans Affairs, I want to ask the Prime Minister, why is it now it takes twice as long to find out if a veteran qualifies for compensation and assistance for service-related injuries, a number that's more than doubled since COVID hit. Compared to other countries, Canada is performing poorly. Combined, the Toronto 905 region has a death rate twice that of Germany's. Ottawa's rate is even worse. And the Prime Minister hides from Canadians with his fake news meetings and scripted questions. On another note, for small business owners, you should have received an email from me. And if you don't have email, you'll be receiving a questionnaire in the mail from me. Or you can go here and complete a survey. You see, a deal was made between the governing party and the fourth party to implement a new substantial payroll tax on small and medium-sized enterprises. So it's important that every level of government consider this and the cost of imposing an additional potential hardship on small and medium-sized businesses. In order to have the input required, I do need a little bit of your time. As always, your help will be kept in the strictest of confidence. This is Cheryl Gallant, live in Pembroke, fighting for democracy. Have a good night.